So today, I want to stand up for the little guy, this tiny speedlight. This speedlight is underestimated by a lot of photographers and claim that it is not powerful enough for outdoor flash photography. However, in this video, I will show you how I use this speedlight in order for me to create these images. So hi everyone, this is Jiggie, a portrait and wedding photographer from the Philippines, and welcome to the channel. So before anything else, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel and would want to learn more about off-camera flash photography or maybe just photography in general, then this channel is for you. So you might want to consider subscribing, and while you're at it, click that notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. Okay, so let's get straight to the point and see how I actually use this tiny speedlight in order for me to be able to create the images that I showed you in this intro. So let's start off with this one. As you can see, I actually have a small speedlight here that's bouncing off the ceiling of a telephone booth in London. And I had my friend hold on to the door in order for them not to really suffocate inside the telephone booth. And this is the actual output. So as you can see, I actually shot this image at high-speed sync at 1/500 at f1.8 ISO 100. I did this in order for me to be able to bring out the blue sky and bring out more colors here. And here you can actually see that this tiny speedlight is more than enough to actually control the sun at this particular moment, and it gave a very nice light on them because I bounced it off the white ceiling here. Okay, I'll give you another example. This is actually from the same scene, or more or less just a few meters away. And what I did was I actually underexposed. As you can see, my shutter speed was 1/250. My aperture was f4 ISO 100. And at shutter speeds of 1/1250, sorry, my bad, 1/1250, I was able to underexpose the scene here. And this one is not actually the sun, but rather this is my speed light that my friend was holding on to, which created that burst of light here. Okay, actually you could see him right here. So I wasn't able to completely hide him, so he was there. Okay, so there in that first two images, you could already see that you can create amazing photos even with just this tiny speedlight. And one big advantage that I had when shooting those is that we were shooting in a very touristy place. In other words, there are a lot of people, and you are actually not even allowed to put in a tripod or a light stand in areas like those. So having a small speedlight like this that you can hold, like you can have your friend or assistant hold, or put in situations or places that you can just basically just put it on top of a ledge and get good light, is one big advantage on why I actually like using this particular light or this particular type of light, a small one. And as you can see, I didn't really have any problems when it came to power. Now, another reason why I like using the speedlight is because sometimes it is not just all about power. You have to dial it down at certain situations for you just to be able to get that really nice fill light. And I will give you an example of that one. You can see here that I had my speed light mounted on a light stand right in front of the guy rowing the boat, in order for him to actually hold on to it just in case it decides to topple over. So it's actually a safety issue here. But also at the same time, I had it here so that it's very easy for me to clone out. As you will see in the final output that I will show you in a bit, and I was here in the other boat because I wanted to capture this scene. So as you can see here, it was shot at ISO 12,800. Now, if you had those 200 watt lights, 300 watt lights, 400 watt lights, it would be very difficult for you to actually dial it down to be able to get the proper exposure at ISO 12,800. That's why I also like these lights, because you could dial it down to having just like that small pop of light in order for you to be able to actually illuminate your subject. You can ask me, why shoot at 12,800? Because I wanted to bring in a lot of the ambient light. Now, of course, these stars I just added in post, but these things were all shot within the same scene. Okay? Here's another example of that same situation. Because I had my light here, it was very easy for me to remove it. You can see that I actually had this one. This was my MagMod MagSphere, which actually spreads the light, not necessarily makes the light softer, but it spreads the light. So when I'm shooting outdoor and I'm shooting wide, it's really nice for me to be able to spread that light because it gives that impression that the light is soft, when in reality, if you really look at it closely, the light is very harsh. But with this particular scene, it worked perfectly because the harsh light actually was the one that defined the shape of the subjects, because it was shot with, well, not really a pseudo-wide shot, because this was shot with a 50 mm, but we were far away in another boat again. So the shutter speed was 1/250 f1.4 ISO 100. So I stayed within the flash sync speed, and you saw the location of my flash was right here, so it was very easy for me to actually just clone it out in post. Now, you might be asking, okay, so we're doing this now in pseudo-controlled environments. In other words, we are shooting outdoor, but I was shooting a prenup during that time, so we had the time and the opportunity to actually explore different lighting scenarios. But what if I was actually shooting an actual wedding? So let me show you one. So I had here the couple's wedding car. So while they were being shot by the videographer here, I did some initial light tests. So as you can see, again, I had my MagMod MagSphere and I had my light inside the car. So the purpose of this one is actually to illuminate the subjects when they are inside the car already, in which case, in this particular photo, I actually started posting them already and took one shot with just ambient light. And as you can see, the light here is still a bit blown and they are underexposed. So immediately after that, I dialed in the power of my flash in order for me to be able to bring out the blues in the sky and to have them properly balanced. The settings were 1/250 f4 ISO 125. So in other words, this was shot at about 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not really such a really bright day that I don't need to overpower the sun with a 500 watt flash, or again another 200 watt flash. This particular flash, a 60 watt flash Speedlight, was more than enough, and as you can see, it was very easy for me to actually put inside the car. So here's another situation in which I totally love actually using this small Speedlight because of its portability. In other words, when you're shooting a wedding, you're running from one scene to another, and then you want to make the most out of every situation that's given to you and the amount of time that is actually allotted. In this case, I actually had the ballroom before the guests started arriving so that I could shoot a couple in this beautiful scene that they created. And of course, again, I had my Speedlight with the MagMod MagSphere in order for me to just spread the light, and I placed it right here on the top right, in order for me to get the proper exposure on them. The moment that I had my position correct, or my light position correct, that's when I actually balanced out the light in order for me to be able to create this image. Okay, and the settings were 1/250 f4 ISO 100. Again, more than enough for you to be able to get all those shots that you need for weddings. So now you might ask me, what if you're put in a situation in which you're shooting in really broad daylight and you really need a powerful flash in order for you to be able to control the light? Now, that's where another control of light comes in, which is the flash to subject distance. In other words, the closer the light is to your subject, the more powerful the light will be. So as you can see here, I actually had my light really close to us in order for me to be able to overpower the sun, because I wanted a shot like this. So it's very simple. It just basically added a bit of light in our face, and I was able to shoot at 1/8000 f1.4 ISO 100. So for me to be able to shoot at this shutter speed on high speed sync in order for me to bring out some color here in the back and still blur it out was really a testament to how powerful and flexible these lights are. Now here's another example. This is towards sunset, and I had my light here again with a MagMod MagSphere, but this time I actually attached the CTO gel to match the color of the sunset, and we were able to get a shot like this, again at 1/8000 f1.4. So this particular light was actually able to get that exposure. But what if, again, it is still not enough because you are shooting in high speed sync? And that is the time I actually start shooting with an ND filter. Let me show you. So this is a screen cap of a video that I already made, and if you want to see the whole video, I'll put a link in the description below. So basically what I did was I was shooting a sunset with a dancer, and again I had my Speedlight here with a Magmod Mag Sphere, and I stayed within my flash sync speed. How? I put an ND filter on top of my camera, my lens. By putting an ND filter on top of your lens, you're basically putting shades in front of your camera, thus making your flash stronger because you don't have to shoot in high speed sync. The moment you keep your flash within the flash sync speed, you are now using it to its maximum potential, in which case I was able to create an image like this with my shutter speed just set at 1/250. I think with this one it was an ND8, and I kept my aperture at f2.8 and had my flash set at full power in order for me to be able to get this shot. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it opened your eyes to the potential of what this tiny flash can do. One, it doesn't really lack the power so long as you know how to use it. Number two, it is very flexible. It's easy for you to bring around. As you can see, some of the images that I showed you were me actually traveling. And number three, when you're shooting weddings, it's nice to have something like this that's very portable and easy to carry around, especially if you don't have an assistant. So if you have any questions with regards to any of the images that I actually showed you today, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And again, if you did enjoy this video, please do consider subscribing to the channel. And while you're at it, click that notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. And if you want to see more of my images, you could always find me on Instagram. It's at Jiggie Alejandrino. Okay, till the next video.